Hello everyone, the Skilled Roy here, and I'm back with another custom cards results video. Just recently we had an amazing contest where me and Hoodierobe actually sort of collaborated and made a bunch of champion cards, and basically everyone had to not only decide where those champions would go in Legends of Runeterra, but also design 3 cards alongside them. This was a really challenging contest, and yet we got even more entries than last time, so I'm super glad that everyone's sort of doing their absolute best in getting into this, because it was an absolutely incredible contest. And here I am with the results, so let's take a look, shall we? So the general plan is for every champion that got at least 3 submissions, we're going to see which one won out of those, and then we'll get to the overall winners at the very end. So let's go ahead and take a look, shall we? So first up, we have GARANATH. She was an amazingly really cool, undead dragon I was sort of trying to pitch to everyone. And this was kind of honestly, pretty obviously a Shadow Isles card, I think. When we were designing it, we tried to make sure that most of the designs could fit into multiple regions if you really wanted them to. But GARANATH was definitely on the definitely Shadow Isles side for sure, to say the least. Now, let's see which one won. It was entry number 4 with Dragonzilla. This was just like... oh man, as soon as I made this and he decided that this is the one he wanted to go for, I was like, this is gonna be good, because this guy, oh man, I was excited. Please go and make sure you read the flavor, make sure you go read more about the character themselves. There's a lot of really great stuff in the design notes, but please make sure you go read this. But GARANATH was a really interesting champion design from a conceptual level, because of how much unique synergy she has with essentially undead Flicker, basically, which was kind of the idea with it, and everyone knows I'm obsessed with Flicker. But that was an overall good design, I think, in my opinion. Really great stuff. Great work, Dragonzilla. Really solid stuff. And next one, M1X. Truly the biggest unfortunate part of M1X was that no one did rap puns based on M1X's unique naming scheme. But nevertheless, the best entry for M1X was number 14 with Nessie. Amazing work as always, Nessie. I know that this is something that you put a lot of work into. There's a lot of really great stuff here. And this is just clearly evident. You make good custom cards, so please keep it up. It's an amazing design. I think this is one of the coolest designs we had for M1X, and I'm really happy to sort of showcase it here. Great work with this one as well. And next up was Johnny. So Johnny was a really interesting card. In many weird ways, this champion is kind of like Zap Sprayfin, the champion, basically. It's the first ever time we have a repeatable tutor in the game. So I thought it was really interesting and really brought a lot of unique gameplay decisions forward, especially as it transitions into more of a burn late game. But the best entry for Johnny was number 8 with Douglas. Amazing work on this, obviously. One of the really crucial things was just sort of knowing how to make a synergistic system based on him when he already makes you spend a lot of mana on his own effect. And I feel like Douglas really sort of nailed that sort of conceptualization here, because like not only do you not want to sacrifice tempo, but you still want to get value out of the effect, and sort of designing cards around that is actually quite difficult when you really sort of sit down and think about it. So great work with this one, Douglas. Amazing stuff. All right, and then finally we get to the top 3 and a more in-depth look at these cards. So one thing I sort of probably just noticed is that I didn't actually say who the certain winners of other champs are, and that's because those are the people who also came top 3. So let's take a look at these cards. In 3rd place, for the Yule champion design, bizarrely one of the most popular champion designs, despite you guys literally making me hotfix it. Whatever. I'm not bitter. I'm just not. I'm not bitter. I'm not upset. It's fine. Anyways, entry number 23, made by UGG. Absolutely cool design here. This was like the sort of idea we wanted to move forward with, right? Everyone knows I'm obsessed with Flicker. Flicker design is one of the coolest designs out there, at least in my opinion, and there's many ways you can do that. So let's take a look at the cards here. We have Yule's Demonic Effigy. Obliterate an ally to summon an exact copy of it with +2/+2 next round. Shuffle Yule back into your deck. Again, this is basically Chronicler of Ruin's ability without the death synergy, right? And then also we have Occultist Slayer. When I'm summoned but not played, stun the strongest enemy. Really well formatted, really great stuff on this one. Basically making sure it works on a variety of systems here, and it works obviously very well with not only Demonic Effigy, but also Yule's general kit in general. And then lastly, we have Nefarious Stalkers. When I'm summoned with 1 or more health, summon an exact copy of me with -1/-1. this one is hella spicy. Probably a little too spicy, but I love it. I love the design. Everyone knows I am the biggest fearsome stan in the goddamn world. So really, really great stuff with this one, Ugg. I'm really impressed. Great performance with this one. This is just really, really great. Nice work. I feel like the top two, if in all honesty, the top two were basically competing amongst themselves for the most part. Almost everyone voted for one of these or the other, and many people actually voted for both of them. This design in particular was really inspired. I feel like there's a lot you can really go for the second place winner here, and I think as soon as I started talking like that, I feel like everyone knows what it is. It is Revlid's entry number 22 with all the imps and the Asakana. Really, really, really clever design. I really do appreciate how they moved Yule into Ionia. Really great stuff with that one. Summoning two random imps seems really like random, so to speak, but given how much variety there is in those imps and how easy it is to sort of stack on top of each other and how their use cases sort of work, it makes super logical sense. And it's really, really cool how the overall concepts of them work as well, because of how the summon effects work along with their last breaths. Because the last breaths are actually detriments, so therefore you do not want them to activate. So what you do with Yule is that your goal is to try to just constantly regurgitate them while keeping you off of the obvious Shadow Isles resurrection synergies. And that to me was where I was really impressed. Where I was like, okay, wait, this is really intelligent design. I really do appreciate that. Of course, some things where I think designs that are almost obvious to come into the game eventually, such as the Immolation Adherent, my support ally gains my stats and then set me to 0-1. Super logical system. Not only does it perfectly feed into Yule's strategy, but it constantly is an engine to base off of Yule as you go on forward as well. Yeah, I gotta say this is one of my favorite designs I've ever seen, in all honesty, and hopefully we'll get even more of them in the future, because this was a really, really great like sort of constraint to put on people, and once they had to build their own kit, it just worked so well. I'm very, very impressed. Thank you so much for this, Revlid. Amazing work on this. Here it is. Everyone probably, oh man, I don't even know what to say. Is this just the most flavorful entry of all time? Is it? Is it the most creative entry we've ever seen? It could be. It literally could be. And that is, of course, Argon's entry number 2. Oh my god, this entry is so good. So, when I made Force of Nature initially, the thought process was that, okay, we looked at a bunch of different regions in the game and saw how many different tribes they had, so to speak, right? So in Demacia, you have elites and dragons. In Targon, you have dragons and celestials. And something like the Freljord, you have a wide variety of options. You have Elnuks, you have Poros, you have Yetis, etc., 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 right? Like that was the idea, right? Now, obviously, Noxus has spiders, and I was like, okay, I mean, like, you could probably fit into Nox if you really wanted to, but, like, it's gonna be pretty hard to do that. But the way you fucking put this in so flavorfully, it seems seamless. I think this could literally see print. Like, it's just so cool. So, the idea, of course, is that basically the Force of Nature has come to Noxus to try to free all the animals they keep in the gladiatorial arenas, and, like, okay, let's go one by one. Let's go one by one on this. So, Colosseum Flamespitter. It's a 5-mana 5/4 that when you play it, you can either summon a 3/3, and then they have to strike each other one way or another. So that means it's not actually a 5-mana 5/4 dragon, but rather it's usually going to be like a 5-mana 5/1 dragon with a 3/3 body, or it's going to be a 5-mana 6/5 dragon, because the dragon will obviously eat the 3/3 and then therefore gain the Fury activation on top of that. Now that this just makes logical sense that like they would have like an elite from the Vanguard who they captivated, they basically captured, and then they brought them into the Colosseum so that they can fight for entertainment and just as like a haha, we're destroying Demacia type of thing, right? And even when the Vanguard captive gets an attack off, it's so rigged against him because the dragon still lives. There's no way he can kill this thing. Really, really smart. And of course, Encaged Yeti, oh my god. This is just so cleverly, like, this is such a clever flavor, you know? Encaged Yeti, of course, being a pun on Enraged Yeti, so he can't attack or do anything while he's in the cage, and yet he's still relevant because a 2-mana 5/5 is so powerful for a lot of other Noxian effects such as Reckoning or Trifarian Assessor. It's good without the effect and sort of some concepts. Obviously, it's not great, but it at least has some uses. And then, hey, boom, it turns on when you control 2 other allies with groups, and that just works perfectly with so many other cards in the game that spawn duplicates or have different variations on top of them. Now, the one thing I'd say is probably House Spider is probably a little too good with this. So you just play House Spider and now it's suddenly great. But the fact that the opponent also has the ability to counterplay it by killing your units is very relevant, I think. And I think that's more than fair. Yeah, great stuff here. I just love the idea that Noxus like found a Yeti, captured it, dragged it all the way back to Noxus, and now they're like, yeah, you're gonna fight for our amusement. Like, that to me is just perfect. And of course, the crux of the story is the force of nature for opening the cages and letting everyone free, which gives everyone +1/+0 for each unique group that you have, and then you rally, which we now know is becoming more and more a part of Noxus's region pie, so to speak. Overall, very cohesive design and really solid mechanically, but flavorfully, this thing just knocks it out of the park. And there's a reason why nearly, I want to say, if I didn't do the exact stats again, but it was like something crazy, like 80% of the votes, 80% of the people who voted for this card, this entry. And honestly, Argon, you should be really, really impressed with this. This was some really, really great work. Amazing stuff. Great entry. And this is sort of like what I hope to see the level of quality consistently in these contests where you're constrained and it breeds this level of creativity. Thank you so much for this. All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching. That is the final entry I have to show off for the contests. Honestly, this was really, really cool because this is probably one of the more difficult contest ideas we've had, and yet we had more entries than ever before and so much creativity. If you have a chance, obviously, please go to the Discord, check out the other entries. All of them were incredible, all of them were amazing. I was just very, very impressed with how much work went into these designs. The next one should be coming early January. That's my initial plan. I have a couple ideas in my mind for what I want to do for that. But stay tuned for that. It'll be a good time, to say the least. But otherwise, though, thank you again so much for watching. If you like this sort of content, please like, subscribe, share the video, that sort of thing, of course. And if you want to join these sort of custom card contests in the future, of course, please join the Legends of Runeterra Discord, where you can come down to the creative custom section and come join us in making these crazy cards. Otherwise, though, thank you again so much for watching. I will catch you guys next time. Peace out.